Hi guys, I want to do a video today on Aaliyah. I was going to say for Aaliyah. It's a little bit of both, on, about, for, all of these things. It is, I'm not sure the date, it's before the Super Bowl. It's Saturday, so it's fight night. My prediction for fight night, I don't know. The guy with the cultural tattoos on his hips, he's gonna get knocked out, alright? He's gonna get kicked in the face, and he's gonna get a little two-punch in his face, and he's gonna get knocked out. And the Rams are obviously gonna win because it's a little bit of a scam. The players don't always know, they usually don't. They kind of have an idea. But overall, it's a scam. Sorry, football lovers. But if I'm wrong, you know, then that's awesome too, right? So anyway, and I'm saying this now just for fun, obviously, but now no one can put a bet on what I say. But anyway, so I am doing this video ahead of time because, you know, this is going to be released in March, because as you guys may know if you've watched my other videos, I have a day job. So I want to schedule a couple videos that I don't feel are too time sensitive ahead of time, just so I have some leeway with work and you know, just in case, I guess. So that's kind of what I'm doing with these videos, and so I just want to be transparent with you guys of like when I'm recording them, so you kind of get a time frame, so you don't, I don't know, I just feel like it's you should know. Okay, so if you watch the Doja video, I've mentioned it many times, like Doja, Cardi, Tasha, like I think I mentioned a little bit here and there, just like speckled in, but I'm not entirely, I can't remember. Just a little bit about Aaliyah and originally why that even came through. And so, as you know, I try and talk about like what I know about these people ahead of time, unless I just kind of jump into it. So with Aaliyah, I'm fully aware of who she is. I remember the day that she passed, well, the day after she passed away. I was in school, and these little girls that I was friends with, we were in the playground, and they were talking about it, and we started crying. One wanted to go home. It was like a big deal. So I remember that day very vividly. Along with 9/11, those are like the two events that I remember from my school years growing up. So anyway, yeah, so I'm aware of like the conspiracies that are circling, right, about Aaliyah. I can't tell you specifically what it is. I can tell you basically like the people that are associated with it. Which I don't think, like if you're watching this, I think that you would be aware of these conspiracies as well. And I pose this as a conspiracy, obviously, because this is something that is just a theory, right? To me, conspiracies are theories that are vindicated, or not vindicated, they're villainized for whatever particular reason. Distasteful, or maybe it's the truth and people don't want to talk about it. Who knows, right? So that's kind of obviously where some of my opinions are at, mostly because this is this is what I'm picking up psychically already, because I just to kind of tell you a little bit of my perspective on things. I love conspiracies. I love different I love theorizing about different things because I want to know the truth, right? Like the absolute truth. Even from multiple perspectives, the truth can vary, right? So what's the absolute truth of certain things? And when you remove the veil of society, I think a lot of people would be very shocked, surprised, and probably like emotionally tortured if they were truly aware of what is actually happening because I feel like once you think you know, it goes more and more and more deeper. And I am personally someone who is connected to people in some form, not, I mean, kind of direct, but not really, of like different conspiracies. And the truth is always not as it seems. And I would even, this is all relevant, okay? So don't, I mean, it sounds like I'm derailing. Who cares? Just think what you want to think. Just click off, I guess. So, you can even take, like, if you read news articles, how skewed that can be, right? It can be absolutely completely skewed from what the actual truth is. And I am also connecting this in a way to Chesley, because that is something that, like, again, I don't personally know the truth of that, right? I don't, because I can only tell you what I saw. But there's this strong feeling in me, and it's like, you know, I kind of feel defensive towards her, or like with her, I guess. And like, not everything's a conspiracy. And I guess, you know, in these other videos I've talked about where like I can see different angles of why, like, it's good to care, I guess, but if, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm fully aware, like, not everything has some underlying issue. And we can even take it back to the Travis Scott video that I did. I truly feel that he was not fully aware of the magnitude, and he would never have had, like, if he knew what was happening, he would never stand for that. He would not. And I am aware of like what a lot of people who are not in the celebrity world are saying about that it was not a setup, but I think it's a spiritual setup. But anyway, so those are just examples, right? I'm gonna even talk about, I just want to take it back to even my Eazy-E video, that I feel, and I don't know how blatantly I said it at the time, and if I do have a lot of unreleased Eazy-E videos as well, but with him, what I feel that I was picking up on was that he was murdered. He was taken out. But if the reason for it being is that he was a threat to, it's like a threat to the system, like it's a threat to, it's a threat to the music industry, but the music industry is deeply ingrained in the greater system, like the beast system. And although he could have been paid off, essentially, like he had a price to him, as far as like just like being in the industry and not having, he wouldn't say a word and he would just go along with it. And like, if I was accurate, which I mean, I genuinely think I think I'm right about him. I think I heard it pretty clearly. Is that basically Eazy was already in a dangerous type of lifestyle, you know? So for him, something probably would have happened naturally that would have led to his demise potentially. And so that didn't have to happen the way that it did. But they were fully aware, they meaning just, I don't know specific, it's like higher ups. And I still feel this strong pull that these people are alive. And it feels like a whirlpool is how it comes across to me. Of like, they're alive, but then they're like mixed in with dead people. So like the soul, the spirits are still relevant, like they're still communicating. It's like they go into this limbo state where they're kind of like ghosts in a way. Like they gravitate in this realm because they're refusing to let go. And so I can't say for sure. I can't distinguish. I mean, I think I could, like, if I really tried, maybe, get really close, and I would need the help of, like, you guys or whoever who would know more about them to, like, figure it out. I'm not sure. Maybe I wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure. Yeah, but anyway, so he wouldn't, they were aware that he wouldn't have stood for what he would eventually have to do in order to progress in the music industry, and the things that he would eventually come to find out that some of his counterparts who were still alive saw, were a part of, and were aware of. And so, you know, Eazy-E was too big of a threat because he's just kind of like his own person. You know what I mean? Like he just has his own personality, his own thoughts, his own beliefs, and you can't sway him from that. You know? Like you can't sway you it's like the reason why he could have been bought off is, I'm saying bought off, but it only goes to a certain degree because he still had a moral standards, right? Like he had, there's some things that you just don't cross with him. And, you know, yeah, he wasn't a perfect person. He was like a young guy and obviously like an attractive guy to a lot of people, but, you know, and the lifestyle or whatever, but there comes a point where enough is enough, right? And if anything, he's a really good parent. Like he's really good to children. That's what I'm kind of dancing around, you know, is like he would never stand for the mistreatment to an extreme degree of children. And you're gonna have to listen to the nuances of that, because I'm just, that's all. You need to figure it out. If you're sticking through to this point, you need to figure this stuff out, you guys. It's very, very, very important that we all like figure it out for ourselves. You don't listen to me, you don't listen to other people. Like, do your own research. I'm sure there's information somewhere out there, just like under the disguise of being a conspiracy. But even if you just intuitively pick this up, or like talk around, like network with people, the truth is there. But anyway, and it just gets, so I'm getting into like all these other, again, back to the unreleased videos. It's like stuff that I already knew, and you guys know this too, because we're all, it's just a, it's, I'm just kind of like thinking about everything, like how psychics, we're just intuitive, right? Like I'm just an intuitive person, a deeply intuitive person. Yeah, maybe I've always been like this, right? Like I had visions when I was a child, and specific visions that have come true. So it's like things about my life, and like that's why I talk like the soulmates and all this stuff. I already knew this when I was a kid, because I saw my life story play out and everything was explained to me. I didn't have those technical terms, right? But just through life, it was like, oh, karma, okay, I get it, that kind of stuff. But it's all within us. Like we all have that to varying degrees. Maybe I picked that up from my own personal journey, but what's your journey, right? And you're obviously watching this video for a reason, so it's very important. But anyway, so all of this goes back to Aaliyah, because Aaliyah, I do feel it was huh. I just saw, so I'm gonna just say this, and you can link it to whomever, someone I had just talked about, or who I'm about to talk about. 3 letters. 3 letters. And they're like the link. It's a federal thing. But it's a link between the seen and the unseen. It's like between the 2 worlds. If you know what I mean. So anyway, okay. Back to Aaliyah. I see the color turquoise, okay? And I'm not talking about the water, right? The turquoise waters for the filming of that music video. I'm talking like the stone turquoise. And I saw it before this, like, this isn't turquoise obviously, but I blindly pick the colors, like the pens that I'm gonna use if I doodle. But blue is significant. It's the blue chakra, maybe. I believe that might be your throat chakra. I'm not sure. But it's also turquoise. The significant, like the spiritual meaning of turquoise is just highlighted. Like if I look around the room, everything that's blue in here is, like, in my imagination, like in my mind, like, is highlighted. I see everything blue. And when I was thinking about her last night, it was the same thing. I was seeing turquoise, and I could see kind of like, now I don't know if this is turquoise or if this is another stone that kind of looks like a robin's egg. Where it has like those little specks in it. Aquamarine. I would just look into the spiritual. It's turquoise. It has to be. It's something that's, it's not a precious, because turquoise isn't a precious stone, right? So it's something that's like more solid, like that. And I know that that's really, I don't know the importance to it as far as Native American culture, but I know that it's a significant stone. So I would look into that. That's extremely important to this reading. That would explain everything, is what I'm hearing. Is like, you could tie that into everything somehow, and that could just be the end of this reading if I wanted it to be, is just like pointing to that stone. Okay, now when I talk about the conspiracies surrounding her, I do feel there's a lot of truth to that. I don't know the varying degrees of what these conspiracies say, but there's something about it that is potentially accurate, and I'm not sure what in it. Okay, I don't know what. What I can say is there's this connection to, is Ashanti. I don't know if this is the artist Ashanti or if this is the name Ashanti. Ashanti, she's showing me it goes direct to Greek, like Greece, ancient Greece, and then from ancient Greece it goes direct to ancient Egypt. And then she's highlighting ancient Egypt, and it turns like golden, like that. I don't know if it's gonna pick up after I process the video, but it's like these golden colors. And when I associate this particular gold in my readings, and I associate not only ancient Greece, but Egypt. This is a long storyline. Like from here I can feel her sadness. From here I can feel this is a repetition of lifetimes and connected to this person or these people, where it's this continuation of this because something to do with turquoise, and it's a silencing of her. It's an attempt to silence her. And I've talked about this, but essentially through my visions I saw that and intellectually I think this makes sense too, that ancient Egypt is very evil. It's very evil. You know, you have so many slaves that are building these pyramids or whatever, like you're just like it's run like how they want to run the world now. In truth, is how it seems. Like it seems from all my visions up until now that they're turning, this is like, you know, they're trying to turn this into like Marxism mixed with communism and the whole one world type of thing, and everyone is a slave, right? And I think if we open our eyes a bit, you would kind of see where that's already occurring. It's just you have to twist the mind. You have to twist the mind to think that you're willingly giving up your freedoms for comfort, and then kind of like fighting their own pretend fights. So that's essentially the same is what Aaliyah is showing me is happening and has happened. Why I wanted to talk about the distinguishing points of them, because Aaliyah, I feel, was more on the sacrificial side, while Eazy-E was more on he is a threat because he is far too opinionated and loudmouthed and strong-willed that he's gonna be a huge problem. He's gonna be a problem. Let's just get it over with. And that was the biggest mistake. And I think that's a testament to how when you do bad in the world, it will always come back to bite you in the butt. And not only that, but the good will always outsmart the bad, because the bad is just, it's stupid by nature, you know? It comes from nothing. It comes from the absence of everything. It comes from mimicking what you've learned through good. So it's not ever, there's no purified source. It has no source. It's just kind of like muddies from the bottom, comes back up. So anyway, so Aaliyah, when she connects me to ancient Egypt, it's just kind of complete that is, you know, you have these rulers who have all these like luxurious things that mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing to have all these gold and cats or whatever they have. I have no idea. And she's showing me like the king, like I don't know if it's, I'm gonna say King Tut because he's the most popular one, but it's like a pharaoh, and he has like the black, he has like the, it's like I don't know what it is, like a mask or like a hat, and it's like golden, and then like the black, like black stripes, or like his like black on it, and then she's showing me turquoise again. So this dates back even before that, but she's highlighting that, I think, from my frame of reference, because that's something that I feel I've gotten acquainted with, which is that, you know, ancient Egypt is modern day Hollywood. Behind the scenes Hollywood, and in the front, where they have these people posing in the front as like entertainment, and then you have the slaves, all of the everyday people working towards this as if there's something like to emulate these Hollywood people, and it's all very dark-sided, you know, up there. And it's a worshiping of them as if there's something, right? And she's saying that there's gonna be a downfall to this. Like there's gonna be a downfall to this, just like there was a downfall to Egypt that they're unaware of, because they're kind of like blind with power, you know, like drunk with power. And she's pointing me back to my unreleased videos, and how like basically what I saw in those videos is that we're coming to this crossroads. It's kind of a crossroads, but it's stretched out over like, I don't know how many years, like at least 50, maybe 50, 30, 50 years, 100 years, within like, it would be like our great-grandkids. Like it's pretty new that this would happen, and it's rapidly speeding up. And so she's saying like we have a where, okay, let me complete that sentence. So where we're gonna have the option to leave Earth, like go to Mars or wherever, and they're basically gonna create like a slave place there and a slave place here. It's like separating humanity, and then brainwashing, and then the whole, anyway, and then bring them back and that kind of thing. So she's saying like we have a choice, right? Like we have the option to say no. It's not like we have to go along with it, like kind of like with this whole metaverse thing. It's like you don't have to be a part of it. Like you it's not like, well, you either go along with it or be left behind type of thing. It's like you can say no. You can say no completely to it and prevent it, you know? Kind of like Elon Musk, like he warned about this many times, and now it's kind of like, well, just kind of going along with it type of thing. Like he gave us the choice, right? We chose to stay blinded to it. And so she has this purity in her, right? So like, and that's where the sacrifice came through, because there's something very pure about her that has stayed true through all these lifetimes. And again, it's this repetition. So it feels as if she was continuously having this happen, to varying degrees in her lifetimes, where she is this big figure and there's the potential for something very prosperous and good out of it, but then just she's taken out. And again, the bad kind of outweighs for a while, but then that collapses. Greece collapsed as well, ancient Greece. And so that's where she's showing me that this, like, basically, like, this is going to collapse as well. There's going to be some sort of, like, worldly or economic crash. It's going to collapse because it's done by evil. The foundation has been created upon evil, essentially. And so she's basically kind of saying, like, to brace. It's like bracing yourself for I didn't expect this reading to go this way. But it's just like a warning, like, brace yourselves. And again, with some significance to turquoise. So that turquoise and Ashanti, whether if it's the artist, then that's a separate message. And I would look into the name Ashanti. I would look into ancient Greece, like the historical whatever, like information about ancient Greece, what that was like, and ancient Egypt. I would read up on those. So those things. Read up on ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, Ashanti, the name Ashanti, and the stone turquoise, and or because I'm sticking to turquoise, but it's literally, it's like a stone, and it's almost, like I said, like robin's egg. Like, it has speckles in it, and I feel like turquoise does not have speckles, does it? It's usually like very clean colored, like clean blue, but maybe if you guys are gemologists or something, like, or geologist, the whatever would have speckles. I'm sorry, I'm honing in on this because it's important. That's really important. That stone is very, 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 very important. Okay, so the reason she's coming through Doja is because there's a purity in Doja as well. And she feels very protective of Doja, specifically because there's a parallel there. She feels like there's an innocence in Doja, and this is, we need to look, okay, like, understand, when I'm picking up on these people, this is literally like one perspective of the whole, right? So if I did a reading on you, it's one perspective of your whole entire being. And so the reason I bring this up is because we're all people. We all have our own quirks. We all have a range of our free will decisions in life. This is a clear path that I'm picking up on, and the essence of who she is, right? This is the essence. And so when I pick up on things with people where it's other readings where it's essentially like perceived as like more negative and like very much warning, there's needs to be a correction here, this is an issue, there's evil, whatever kind of stuff that I've ever said, is because your essence is in trouble. Your essence is in dire need of a redirection. It's in a very dangerous position. You can look at, I'm thinking the one I did on Trisha Paytas, and there was someone, I don't know if there was someone else, I can't think of them right now, but there's like other people. And so, I mean, Maxwell and all them, they're very, very, very beyond, look into, I'm sure there's conspiracies about that. You need to look deeper into that. I would connect that also to like what I talked about with Eazy-E. It gets very, very deep there. Anyway, so Doja is in a very vulnerable position. She's emotionally, mentally, spiritually innocent and vulnerable and open-hearted and youthful and pure. There's a very angelic-like quality about Doja, and it's very important that Aaliyah gets these messages out there, because her story is not done yet, is what I hear. Is like my words, my vision, my voice is not done. Like my mission on earth is not over. And this is the way that I choose to come through to complete what my soul's mission is, because it's like not wanting history to repeat itself. And this history is like she keeps getting closer and closer and closer to, it's like kind of being a championship, like not having this happen, not being like set up for this. I think if there was like maybe like even Rome, like the downfall of Rome, like if there was a point where she got even closer than she did this time around, but her spirit is still very strong, like her spirit as Aaliyah. You need to look into Ashanti. I know I'm just repeating, but seriously, whatever I'm saying, those things that needs to be, if you care, looked into. Ashanti is extremely important too. So, or maybe it's like the story of whatever this name, whatever, I don't know what the origin of this name is, what that means, but it means something. And that would exemplify her, Aaliyah, as Ashanti, and Aaliyah and this stone. It's her saying, like, I will never leave you. It's a very strong message of, I will never leave your side. I'm never going to give up on you. This is a message to someone, a man, saying that our love is very strong. It's very strong and eternal, and it will stand the test of time. And you will hear from me through Doja. Like, it's like you've perceived me, right? Like you have this, like you can feel me, like feel my energy. And it's this dichotomy of, I've passed peacefully, I've crossed peacefully, but this part of me, as my identity as Aaliyah, there's a very strong part of me that has not left yet, because I need this to happen before I'm at rest. I'm not going to give up I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to take this lying down. Like, I'm a fighter too. It's like, I don't just give up or give in just because they think it's the easy way out, because it's not. And until I'm vindicated, I'm not going to give up. It's going to be a very clear message when we hear her. It's going to be a very clear message. And these messages are really part of her major ways of trying to reawaken people. And it's a direct messages to the people potentially involved. If anything were to have happened, I don't know, okay? This is just like, we don't know, right? Whatever the report said is probably true, but I don't know because I didn't look at the reports. And I was a baby when it happened, so I'll have to check on that after this. But yeah, you know, she's just saying, like, you do what's right. You do what's right. And this isn't the last. Like, this is what she's saying about, like, to them is, like, this isn't the last that you've heard of me and you've heard from me. And there's still a lot of anger. It's not, I don't want to say anger. It's not, it's passion. It's passion. It's you know, when you see something wrong happen, you can be passionate about that. And so from there, like, she's healed. She's not like grieving. It's not like grieving. It would be like this. If you did something bad to someone that caused something untimely to happen, your worst nightmare is probably that was just a dream. Like, you kind of realize that when they go away, they're not really away. And they come back and kind of like haunt you in a way. And I don't mean this in a tactless way. Because truly, this is a very good thing. This is a very beautiful thing. Honorable in my eyes. I think this is very honorable that it's like she's saying, like, the audacity. Like, the audacity that you would be so deceitful to them, like, that they were, like, you were so deceitful. The nerve, like, the audacity. To this year is like 2022, 2023, 2024. mainly 2023 is a huge year. I would pay attention, look out for that. 2025 is like kind of gearing down from this. This is a major blowout year. Major year for her. 2023. Okay. 2024 solidify it, then you kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen with people, but it's the same thing that I say in these videos. Is like, if I'm right about a little bit of something here and there, what does that mean for the greater of everything else? Figure it out for yourself. What does that mean, right? And it's kind of the same thing here. It's like, if you hear me and it's so clear and it's so direct, and if people are saying, oh, that sounds like her, oh, this and that, oh, that's a message from her, oh, they said that they're picking up on her, what does that mean? What does that mean? And you bet that these other people, if any of this were true, you guarantee that they already know this truth. This is not them questioning, oh, this is esoteric knowledge, but it's really not. It's truly not. It's the process of us remembering it. However, this is not hidden. It should never be hidden, right? It's hidden from ourselves because the frequency of when we come back, and we have to forget for varying degrees and varying different ways. But there's a point in time right now where it's very important for the reason why we're here. Everyone's here for a particular reason. We're here for a reason, okay? And many different reasons. So I won't generalize, but I would bet to say that if you're here and you are able to watch this video and you stuck around for this long on this one, then there's probably an even, like, the chances of it being an even bigger reason narrows to this being something important for you specifically for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be with her or whatever. It doesn't have to be like all this whatever kind of stuff, but it's like maybe rerouting something in your life, figuring out something in your life, right? Listening to your intuitive nudges and applying it in a practical manner, not in like some loosey-goosey way. But they feel her. Anyone who was involved with her feel her energy. It's like almost potent how strong her energy is coming in. Like, the closer it gets to this, the stronger it's coming in. And again, like the whole thing with Doja is like, it's a willing thing. It's a good thing. It's not like some of these events that they do where they're trying to do bad stuff. And it's not like it's going to be some sort of possession over Doja where she's just like operating without control of her own body. Okay, this is a working in tandem with her, and it's a spiritually unique situation. That I'm not going to say few, but not too many. When you think about like the population of the world, not too many people are gonna fully experience something like this, where an artist or whatever of like what kind of thing that they're doing, even a doctor and some whatever comes through, that kind of thing. And it's for a specific reason. Like, this is a predestined, it was like kind of like, you know, like, I can't think of the word right now, but basically like insurance. So Doja and her are spiritually connected. They would be some form of like, they're like loose soul family. Like they're around each other's vicinity, but kind of working like how they are now. Like they're separate but the same, right? And so they have a spiritual contractual agreement before this happened with Aaliyah, that if it were to happen, eventually Doja would be able to work with her in order to complete this part of Aaliyah's life cycle. And it would hopefully bring in more possibilities for people who are privy to this music and to this story to make their own choices, free will choices in their life of what needs to be adjusted, right? And so that's what I see. Another last message that I want to talk about is, as I said, with like the soul family and how there's that like kind of like working side by side but never really together. That's also the connection that I see as far as like Aaliyah and Easy is. It would be how do I say, a different example would be like I'm on city council for a particular town, and then you're on city council for another town, and we share the same police force. And so we work in tandem in that way. We're two separate townships, operating our own type of thing, right? But because I have a couple cops or whatever, you know, I'll have a little bit of my force, but you have a lot more. So I just kind of borrow from you from time to time, right? And we're kind of crooked, you know. Stuff happens, but, you know, that kind of thing. So, that's my reading. Sorry, I'm listening. She's just saying, it's a very matter of fact. She's saying, I love you to everyone. It's like, I love you. Tell them I love you. And the way that feels is definite. You know, it's like you don't really get butterflies. Like the way I'm feeling is like, I don't get butterflies from it. I don't feel like she's like cutesy in a good way. Like when people are like, I love you, like that. It's just a self-assured love that makes you feel like there's no attachments. It's not, I love you because, I love you but, I love you and. It's like unconditional. And that's how you know that she's like actually healed. She's just really, again, like, her story is not over. She's not going to give up. And that's another association with Easy. It's like, you can take me out, but I'm not going to give up. Like, that's doing nothing for you except making me stronger, you know? Like, it just makes me more able to perceive and see things. So, what are you doing? The only power that they have for taking someone out is to manipulate the public perception of what happens after death. So it's like, even if you hear these messages, you could deny it. Like if you heard Doja say something like, oh, I felt this way, or was inspired by whatever, whatever. Or if you heard in Doja's voice, like something that really is uncanny, you know, and whatever, it's like, you could deny it. Like you can just be really cynical about it, or you could be like me with my personal problems where I like overanalyze it, right? And that's your only power, is to change the minds of the people so that they don't believe themselves. They cut themselves off of their own intuition, right? Because that's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do. But these two in particular, I just bring them up because they're so very strong. So very strong, and very inspirational. That's very inspirational to me. Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Her final message is that she loves you, and bye.